Hello Indie Game fan, I mentioned in my newsletter that Ghost Ship Games, makers of Deep Rock Galactic, have now gone into publishing, with their first announced title being Dark Swarm. Team up with your friends as synthetically engineered elite mercenaries to take on horrific aliens in the deepest, darkest corners of space. It's a top-down tactical shooter that looks awesome and is tense, with the levels being procedurally generated and semi-destructible for plenty of replayability. The developers have planned for 4 distinct classes to choose from, so there will be synergies between players, which is ideal for a co-op title. It does look similar to classics like Helldiver and Alien Nation, but is more on the tense end of things like GTFO, looking excellent with friends. Just a quick teaser for this point-and-click adventure game, which is inspired by Deponia and the Broken Sword series, where the adventures of Brian Scott has already been fully funded on Kickstarter, but check it out for stretch goals and rewards. This video is brought to you by A Perfect Day, a narrative adventure game that is awesome, but was previously only available in Chinese and has already been very well received, where I'm happy to share that the English and Japanese language demos are available right now. This is a time loop title set on the last day at the turn of the century on the 31st December 1999, where you play as a 6th grade student and other characters attempting to create the perfect day for everyone that you encounter. The developers talk about it being different from Groundhog Day in that you repeat the same day without memory of past loops, which I guess has to do with the multiple characters with a complex intertwining narrative to uncover. There are 4 main story threads and a whole lot of side ones with complex and interesting characters to play as and to get to know. The more unique setting of China in 1999 is not common in games, at least for a Western audience, so it's definitely a curiosity, with the art style being gorgeous as well. Add to that the variety in minigames and puzzles, such as a game console and 4-wheel drive model car racing, and you have something very interesting, so if curious, check out the demo via the link below and wishlist the game. I have a number of Kickstarter titles that need your support, one of which is the dynamic 2D action platformer Star Hearts Launch Point, which is actually their second attempt at the Kickstarter campaign and seems to be going well so far. Inspired by games that the developers loved from the 90s, this game takes you on a journey through uncharted planetoids to awaken your inner power and uncover the secrets of the Manifest Company. You play as Prin, a feisty young space witch who battles hostile infestations while discovering her own unique abilities. Along the way, you can rescue and befriend indigenous critters in order to activate your Hut Link system to get 4 types of traversal abilities which can be acquired in any order. There's a time trial mode and good looking action where the developer also nailed the throwback look, so do check out their campaign and support if interested.
On my way! Constructing building.
Me being me, I really like the look of Pixel Wars, an RTS title that looks like a throwback, looking to be inspired by the classics while still having its own spin on things. It is simplified to some extent with only 5 building types and 6 units, but is supposed to have some sort of intuitive control scheme with a focus on macro strategy. Maps are randomly generated as well for replayability, so I hope that the developer will balance it accordingly, but do note that it is online PvP only, which might be a tough sell, especially for an indie game.
Victory.
This animated trailer is excellent, so I'll be back in a bit.
Very difficult. Never have I seen a lock this complex. Only a true master could. I got it.
Ooh, only a true master, huh?
Exactly. These fingers are the pride of Cairo. Did I ever tell you about the time?
Are those famous fingers done yet?
Corporal, check that out!
bait and tackle.
Anyone spare a match?
Well, what do you know? Didn't even get to use my gun.
There are other ways to solve problems, you know?
Well, there are lots of solutions out there. Wrestling, punching, and
Running?
Lachi!
Oh, plan C again?
Yes, indeed, the Lamplighters League is an Indiana Jones-style tactical RPG from the developer of the Shadowrun trilogy, making it of interest.
Welcome! May I introduce you to Henry? Henry's not just anyone. If they're anything, they're, well, everything. Henry can transform into everything in their reach. Yes, everything.
This very adorable but strange puzzle platformer stars a creature who is half a human head, with the ability to Mario Odyssey its way into possessing anything in the environment to solve puzzles, where Henry Half-Head is perhaps the definition of quirky, which I love to see in indie games.
How they relax and calm down. Or how they care for what they love. Finding joy in the simplest things. Get to know Henry's life story, from their carefree days as a baby, to their first responsibilities as a working adult, until their calmer and more laid-back senior years. Double the Henry, double the fun. Play Henry's not-so-ordinary everyday life in co-op mode. Henry! Everyday life with a twist.
Get ready to tag team your way through over 40 handcrafted stages in Windswept, a 90s-inspired collectathon platformer that pays tribute to the classic games of that era. This game features two playable characters, Marbles the Duck and Checkers the Turtle, each having their own unique abilities that complement their partner's shortcomings. We have to switch between them in mid-air in order to progress. Adventure through 5 different regions, meet new friends and collect a variety of coins to unlock more challenging platforming levels. If you love games like Donkey Kong Country 2, Super Mario World, Yoshi's Island, Celeste and Kirby Superstar Ultra, this is one to watch, where I've seen some clips of it being almost Kaizo Mario levels of difficult on Twitter, so it can be challenging in that way as well. While playable in single player, you can toggle multiplayer on at any time to have a friend control the second character, which sounds like chaos to me, but in a good way. It has already been fully funded on Kickstarter with plenty of time left to go, so do check it out for stretch goals and rewards. One of the most exciting announcements in my inbox this week is that of Anvil Empires, a massively multiplayer game where thousands of players work together to build empires, wage war and conquer in a persistent online world. It is a large-scale game of conquest that takes weeks to play out, where you can build settlements and grow them into large bustling towns with dozens of players, supporting up to 1,000 players that can fight shoulder to shoulder in real-time melee combat. If that sounds familiar, it is because this game is from the developer of Foxhole, which is the same concept but in an early 20th century war setting, so this is the same but in medieval times. It's not just combat however, since every action that you take, from farming, hunting, husbandry, establishing supply lines and more, are critical to the war effort. You can also design and build elaborate multi-level castles and fortresses for withstanding prolonged sieges, where on the other side, siege weapons are also a thing, so given the pedigree, this should be awesome. One of the reasons why I love indie developers is that they just go ahead and make games that they love, especially when the original IP holder is not making new entries, with this title being a pretty blatant tribute to Advance Wars. It's a military turn-based tactics title where different armies face off against each other with 12 unique commanders and their special abilities which may turn the tide of battle. It has all the hallmarks of the Advance Wars series, from buildings that have to be taken over, the classic tactics combat on the grid, 25 unit types with the rock paper scissors style counter system, a story campaign, different biomes, online multiplayer support, and even a map editor, where Warside sure looks to be the second coming of Wargroove and has already raised almost 100k as of recording. We can find more upcoming tactics titles in this video.